Good evening, everybody. Thanks for being with us. I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's Monday, September 21st, 2020, 7 p.m. We have with us tonight Reverend Charles Maxwell Jr. From the Breakthrough Fellowship at 1810 Spring Road. I'd like to invite the Reverend up to do the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Everybody, please rise.
Thank you, Mayor. May we pray. Gracious God, we come before you tonight grateful, God, for just being who you are and doing what you do. God, we are grateful for this opportunity to gather here tonight. And God, we thank you for the many abundant blessings that you have bestowed upon us. God, we thank you itself for life and for health and for the need to fulfill our calling and to friendships that we have. And we thank you, God, that you're using our hands and our feet for the appropriate work and responsibilities of this city. God, I lift before you our mayor and our city leaders. And I pray, God, that you will graciously grant them wisdom to govern amid conflicting interests and issues of our time. God, I ask that you will grant them a sense of welfare and true needs of your people. God, I ask that you will grant them a keen thirst for justice and for righteousness. I pray, God, that you will graciously grant them confidence in what is good and fitting and the ability to work together in harmony even where there is honest disagreement. Now, God, use everything that we do in this meeting for your will and for your way and for your people. We thank you for the city. We thank you for its leadership. But most importantly, God, we thank you for you. This is our prayer, and we make it in the matchless and magnificent name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which stands a nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend, for being with us this evening. Item 2 is agenda changes. We have none. Item 3 is the mayoral report. No report this evening. Item 4 is land issues, zonings, and annexations. The first 3 are being tabled. Item A, 2019-440, public hearing, zoning request Z19-019, rezoning from NRC and OI to MU for the development of 170-unit independent senior living facility and 114 townhomes at a density of 11.85 units per acre, 23.95 acres, land lot 775, 810, and 811, 2320 Campbell Road, Inline Communities, LLC. This item will be tabled to the October 5th, 2020 meeting of the Mayor and Council. This is in Ward 1. Councilman Pickens, you want to make a motion to table that item?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I'll make a motion to table 2019-440 to October 5th.
Do I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Lindley. All those in favor, please vote. Okay. It's approved 7-0. Item B, 2020-233, zoning request Z20-006, rezoning from NS and RM10, conditional for the development of 10 single-family attached townhomes at a density of 9.3 units per acre, 1.08 acres, land lot 669, 3302 Atlanta Road, Edgeline, LLC. The applicant has requested this be tabled until the October 19th, 2020 Mayor and Council meeting. This is in Ward 6. Mr. Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to table item 4B 2020-233 as previously read.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Welsh. All those in favor, please vote. It's approved 7-0. C, 2020-237, zoning request Z20-008, rezoning from GC and RM12 to MU for the development of 105 multifamily units, 15,100 square feet of retail at a density of 35.8 units per acre, 2.93 acres, land lot 594 and 631, 2930 through 2968 Jonquil Drive, 1650 Spring Road, and 1639 Corn Road, the Woodbury Group, LLC. And this item has been requested to be tabled indefinitely at the request of the applicant. This is in Ward 2. Mr. Wagner.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. We move at the request of the applicant to table item 4C indefinitely.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Lindley. All those in favor, please vote. It's approved 7-0. Thank you. Item D, 2020-300, public hearing, zoning request Z20-009, rezoning from R20, Cobb County, to RDA conditional for the development of 2 new single-family detached homes at a density of 5.88 units per acre, 0.34 acres, land lot 632, 2791 Matthew Street, McBev 1 LLC. And I'd like to turn it over to Joey for his presentation.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. Good evening. I'm Joey Stobbs, Planner 2 with Community Development. This is zoning case C20-009. Applicant is McBev 1 LLC. This was heard by the Planning and Zoning Board on August 10th. Approved. The recommendation was approval 6-0. And this is a property that's currently in unincorporated Cobb County. If approved, it would become part of the Village at Williams Park, which is to the north and south of this development. The location is 2791 Matthew Street. It's about 0.34 acres. It currently has one single-family structure on the property. It's being proposed to be subdivided for 2 new single-family detached dwellings. Current zoning is R20 in the county, and proposed zoning is RDA conditional. So as you can see at the zoning map, it's got RDA to the north and south and across the street, and some townhome developments on the west side of Matthew Street also. The future land use is currently low-density residential in the county. It's being proposed to change to medium-density residential, which is consistent with what's to the north and south. To the east is Cobb County. That's also low-density residential. And the west is medium, high-density residential. Here's the proposed site plan. The proposed setbacks are front 20-foot setback, side 5-foot setback, and a rear 20-foot setback. There's a shared driveway that it will connect with the part of Village of Williams Park to the north. It would use that shared driveway with rear entry garages. This is an earlier plan that was submitted. All the stormwater will be at the rear of the property, not at the front as this one shows. They will make right-of-way dedication, road improvements, and sidewalk. Currently, this part between the 2 sections of Village of Williams Park is no curb, no sidewalk, so it will be cleaned up to be consistent with the developments on either side. There are 2 variances requested: reduction of the rear setback from 30 feet to 20 feet, and reduction in minimum lot width from 50 feet to 40 feet, 39.93 to be exact. Staff supports both of those variance requests. These are the proposed home elevations. It is the same developer as the other Village of Williams Park sections, so it will have consistent architectural features as that development. Here's pictures of the subject property as it currently is today, and then the pictures of the adjacent properties. So staff recommends approval of the rezoning from R20 Cobb County to RDA conditional for the development of 2 single-family units at a density of 5.88 units per acre with the following conditions. 1, regarding the architectural composition of the homes. 2, requiring utilities to be underground. 3, requiring the developer to be responsible for any traffic improvements. 4, no breed to be buried on any lot or common area. 5, the developer will comply with the city's current tree ordinance, and the tree plan will be prepared by a Georgia registered landscape architect. 7, all yards and common areas are to be sodded. And then 8, regarding the tree planting schedule. Starting with the special conditions, number 9, regarding the setbacks, front of 25 feet from the existing right-of-way, side 5 feet, rear 30 feet. Driveway is a minimum 20-foot length from the building to the driveway. 11, developer will dedicate 10 feet of right-of-way on Matthews Street. 12, they will install curb, gutter, and sidewalk along the frontage of Matthews Street. 13, they will be required to expand the Matthews Street roadway to meet the street width on either side of the development. 14, regarding the maximum height of structures at 35 feet. 15, they'll have to meet all fire access requirements. 16, all water and sewer improvements deemed necessary by the Public Works Director. 17, they'll be responsible for any stormwater improvements deemed necessary by the city engineer. And lastly, 18, the rezoning is contingent upon the substantial compliance with the site plan submitted with the application. And 19, they'll be bound to the elevation submitted with the application. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Joey. Any questions?
I have a question. On the one stipulation about the driveways, is that the standard amount of feet for our driveways that we usually do?
Standard is usually 22 feet when it's in the front to have the car not block the sidewalk. But this is the last 2 lots on that section of that development, so it doesn't have the same issues with the sidewalk in the front of the house.
And okay, so I guess I'm trying to understand that. So the driveway is in the back off of that private street, and the sidewalk's in the front of the house,
That's
not the
correct.
driveway. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, thank you, Joey.
Any other questions of Joey? All right, is the applicant here? I'd like to invite you up. If you have anything you'd like to say?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just here to ask for support of our application. We have developed the properties to the north and the south, and we're just trying to make a consistent quality development for the section of Matthew Street going from about the intersection of Walker, just a little north of Walker, all the way down to the corner of Matthews and Spring Street. And we've had good success so far. And I think if you would have drived or have drived that development, you can see how properties have improved in that section. We have good success. We have 2 of the 4 townhomes that are currently under construction under contract. And so I think this will be a great addition to the city, as a matter of fact. And be willing to answer any questions.
Any questions of the applicant?
Just a couple of quick questions. Number one, thanks for your continued investment in the city. Could you, if you don't mind, what would be the price points of the homes?
So we expect those will be in the mid $500,000 price range. The early ones were in the mid to high 400s, but as time has gone on, I guess the values in Smyrna have increased, and so we expect it to be mid 500s. The townhomes are selling in the high 400s, so we think that's a good, fair price.
Good. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir. This is a public hearing. If there's anybody in the audience tonight who'd like to comment on this zoning, I'd like to invite you up now to be sworn in by our city attorney, Mr. Cochran. Anybody out there want to comment? All right. We'll close the public hearing then. This item requires an annexation. We'll move to item E, ordinance 2020-08. Approval of ordinance 2020-08, annexation request with 100% of owners requesting annexation all tract or parcel of land lying and being in land lot 632 of the 17th District, 2nd Section, Cobb County, Georgia, a total of .34 acres being known as 2791 Matthew Street, Smyrna, Georgia 30080, will be effective October 1st, 2020, and part of Ward 3, and authorizes the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. This is in Ward 3. I'll turn it over to Mr. Lindley.
Thank you. First, I want to thank the applicant for working closely with the city staff and the folks in Williams Park and the neighbors. I think it's in keeping with the rest of the homes that he's built and sold, so I think it finishes out the street nicely. So with that, motion do pass as previously read.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Gould. All those in favor, please vote. It's approved 7-0. Thank you. And item F, 2020-367 is the final vote. Zoning request Z20-009, rezoning from R20 Cobb County to RDA conditional for the development of 2 single-family detached homes at a density of 5.88 units per acre, 0.34 acres, land lot 632, 2791 Matthew Street, McBev 1 LLC. Mr. Lindley.
Yes, sir. In keeping with D&E, motion do pass as previously read.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Welch. All those in favor, please vote. It's approved 7-0. Thank you. Item G, ordinance 2020-10, public hearing. Ordinance 2020-10 for code amendments to sections 402, 709, 710, 711, 712, and 716 to the city's zoning ordinance are proposed to add a definition related to automobile broker office and to list automobile broker office as a permitted use within the limited commercial, office institutional, neighborhood shopping, general commercial, and central business districts, zoning districts. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The city's zoning ordinance is silent on automobile broker offices and does not list the use as a permitted use under any zoning district in the city. Community development is proposing a code amendment to the zoning ordinance to identify the zoning districts where automobile broker offices can be permitted to assist with enforcement of relevant provisions and to differentiate between automobile dealerships and storage yards. Community development is proposing to amend section 709, 710, 711, 712, and 716 of the zoning ordinance to add automobile broker office as a permitted use under the limited commercial, office institutional, neighborhood shopping, general commercial, and central business district zoning districts. These are the 5 zoning districts staff feels are the most appropriate zoning districts for an automobile broker office. Community development proposes the following code amendments to ensure consistent permitting and enforcement of automobile broker offices throughout the city, as well as to differentiate between automobile broker offices and automobile dealerships and storage yards. The Planning Board recommended approval by a vote of 6-0 at the August 10th, 2020 meeting. Community Development recommends approval of Ordinance 2020-10 for code amendments to Section 402, 709, 710, 711, 712, and 716 to the city's zoning ordinance to add a definition related to automobile broker office and to list automobile broker office as a permitted use within the limited commercial, office institutional, neighborhood shopping, general commercial, and central business district zoning districts.
Any questions or discussion by council? All right. Turn this over to Mr. Lindley.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And thanks to Rusty and Joey and our solicitor. This will address an ongoing problem we've had for, I believe, about a year. So without further dialogue, motion do pass as previously discussed and read.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gould. All those in favor, please vote. It's approved 7-0. Thank you. Item 5 is privilege licenses. We have none. Item 6 is formal business. 6A, 2020-361, approval of the appointment of Ward 4 resident Mr. Carl Tackett to the Smyrna Tree Board. This is a 4-year term that expires August 31st of 2024. Mr. Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Is Mr. Tackett in the audience by any chance? I don't see him. My tree board appointee has recently expired, and Mr. Tackett had expressed some interest in serving on the tree board, and I'm certainly willing to appoint him to that position. With that, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 6A 2020-361.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Lindley. All those in favor, please vote. Approved 7-0. Thank you. Item 6B, 2020-370, approval of the appointment of Ward 5 resident Mr. Mark Ogilvy to the Smyrna Tree Board. This is a 4-year term that expires August 31st, 2024. Ms. Wilkinson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to have this opportunity to thank Daniel Figueroa for his service on the tree board. He's been a valuable member, and he has moved out of Ward 5, so he can no longer be on this position. And I had another constituent, Mark Ogilvy, that was interested in serving on the board. If he's here, he can let me know, but I'm not sure that he is. But anyway, I'd like to take this opportunity to move to approve item 8. Oh, wait a second, sorry. 6B, 2020-370, approval of the appointment of Ward 5 resident, Mr. Mark Ogilvy, to the Smyrna Tree Board. And this is a 4-year term that expires 8/31/2024.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Wagner. All those in favor, please vote. It's approved 7-0. Thank you. Item C, Resolution 2020-09, approval to adopt Resolution 2020-09 to expand the restaurant district of Riverview Landing and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
As defined in the amendment to Section 6-46, carry-in prohibited of the City of Smyrna Code of Ordinances, the carry-out of alcoholic beverages is only authorized in areas that are designated as a restaurant district by a resolution from Mayor and Council. Resolution 2018-14 was approved to include a portion of Riverview Landing as a restaurant district. The existing district includes the park and the Eddy at Riverview Landing in Phase 1 of the development, which includes 3,500 square feet of commercial space that consist of Grand Champion Barbecue and Reformation Brewery. The proposed extension will include approximately 7,500 square feet of restaurant and commercial area in Phase 2 called the Drift at Riverview Landing. The Riverview Landing area is a mixed-use development that represents a future center of commerce and pedestrian activity. The extension of the restaurant district will enable the development to attract additional destination-based retailers and restaurants to the area. This resolution would expand the restaurant district in Riverview Landing to include the area between Riverview Road and the Chattahoochee River from Nichols Drive to Dickerson Drive. If approved, the complete restaurant district would extend between Riverview Road and the Chattahoochee River from the southern city limits to Dickerson Drive. Staff recommends approval to adopt Resolution 2020-09 to expand the restaurant district of Riverview Landing and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all documents.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. I'll just say, if y'all have not been, if anybody's not been down to Riverview Landing and seen the awesome stuff that they're doing down there, I see Chuck Young in the audience. You guys, that development is fantastic. So thanks for all you're doing down there. Yeah, it is. This is in Ward 7. Mr. Wheaton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Joseph, for reading the background on that. Certainly is a very exciting area for the city and for Ward 7 for sure. I don't know if invite Chuck if you want to come up and give a little bit of a update on kind of how things are going down there, or particularly with the present restaurant district as well. Just for a quick update.
Chuck, you were ready for that, right?
Absolutely. Evening, Mayor and Council. Appreciate it. Well, I know you're flying through the agenda here. I don't want to take too much time, but just appreciate your support since the beginning of this development. All the restaurants, breweries, everyone else have benefited greatly from the restaurant district, especially during COVID. It's been fantastic. The vibe out there is great. Retailers are doing well, and we just want to be able to offer the same benefits to future retailers we try to attract as we come out of COVID and finish up the second phase of development we started a couple months ago. We're probably about a year away from delivering the restaurant space out there. So thanks, and I'm happy to entertain any questions or other need be.
Any questions, Mr. Young? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
With that,
Wheaton.
with that, I'd like to make a motion to approve item, 6C, Resolution 2020-09, approval to adopt a resolution to expand the restaurant district of Riverview Landing and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Gould. All those in favor, please vote. It's approved 7-0. 6D, ordinance 2020-15, for an amendment to section 6-38, delivery by retail beyond licensed premises, and to authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Recently, the Georgia legislature adopted OCGA Section 3-3-10, which allows a packaged goods retailer through an employee or third party to deliver malt beverages and wine in unbroken packages, subject to stringent terms and conditions which are specified by the new state law. Currently, Section 6-38 prohibits delivery of alcoholic beverages beyond the licensed premises. This amendment to Section 6-38 would allow delivery as long as all conditions of the new state law are met. Staff and the city attorney recommend approval of ordinance 2020-15 for an amendment to Section 6-38, delivery by a retailer beyond licensed premises, and to authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents.
I'm going to have Mr. Gould handle this issue. Is there any discussion or questions from the council? All right, Mr. Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is, as Joe Bennett just mentioned, this is for us to keep up with the new state law and allow our restaurants and retail organizations businesses to keep up with the rest of the state. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I move to approve item 6D, ORD 2020-15, as previously read.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Wagner. All those in favor, please vote. It's approved 7-0. Item 6E, 2020-375, approval to reclassify the current Information Systems Manager position with a current pay grade of 21 to an Information Systems Assistant Director position with a pay grade to be determined. And I think in a discussion we had in the pre-council meeting, that pay grade will be to pay grade 26. So I'm going to, you want to read the background, Mr. Bennett? Or is there anything you want to, okay.
The Information Systems Manager salary range is significantly below that of other similar IT positions in the metro Atlanta area. This has resulted in increased turnover in the position and the inability to retain trained, qualified staff. The Information Systems Manager is currently classified in pay grade 21 with a salary range of $50,932 to $76,398. Information systems positions are overall in high demand with very few qualified workers. The proposed reclassification will allow the city to recruit and retain employees with a greater skill set and be more competitive in metro Atlanta for similar positions. Additionally, it allows for the Information Systems Director to have a succession plan with qualified staff that will remain long-term in the city of Smyrna. Human Resources and the interim city administrator recommend approval to reclassify the current Information Systems Manager position with a current pay grade of 21 to an Information Systems Assistant Director position with a pay grade of 26, and the mayor to sign and execute any related documents.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Turn this over to Mr. Corky Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve item 2020-375, the approval to reclassify the current Information System Manager position to a current pay grade with a current pay grade of 21 to an Information System Analyst Director position, Assistant Director position with a pay grade changed to be 26.
Any discussion? Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Lindley. All those in favor, please vote. It's approved 7-0. Item F, 2020-376, approval to reclassify the Economic Development Manager, pay grade 24, to Economic Development Director at a pay grade to be determined later. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Thank you. As of October 1st, 2020, the Economic Development Manager position will be vacant. At a manager level position and salary range, currently $59,712 to $89,568, recruiting to fill the position will not allow the city to garner the interest of highly qualified economic development professionals. The city's development efforts require a director-level skill set and experience, which will demand the appropriate level of classification and compensation. Approval to reclassify the Economic Development Manager, pay grade 24, to Economic Development Director, pay grade to be determined, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. I'll say this position is extremely important here in the city, especially with the SPLOST coming up and all of the things that we've got on a docket to be working on from an economic development perspective. We had this discussion amongst the council at a committee meeting, and everybody's very excited to get somebody energized and qualified and come in here and do a bang-up job for us. So I'm going to have Mr. Lindley handle this item F, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and agree. I think this is demonstrates our strong commitment to smart growth as we look forward. We look to greatly professionalize and enhance our efforts in attracting new business to our city, as well as assisting those that are already here today. So with that, motion do pass as previously discussed and read.
Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Wheaton. All those in favor, please vote. Approved 7-0. And we'll come back at a future council meeting, probably the next one, to determine the pay grade. Item 7, commercial building permits. 7A 2020-338, issuance of a commercial building permit for construction of a new Fifth Third Bank, 4520 South Cobb Drive, Ujamaa Construction. Mr. Bennett, any background?
A commercial building permit has been issued at 4520 South Cobb Drive for the construction of a new 2,000 square foot building for Fifth Third Bank. The total estimated cost of the project is $1,542,000, and Ujamaa Construction is listed as a general contractor for the project.
This is in Ward 6. Mr. Gould.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're enthused to have a new addition to Ward 6 in an already popular business area, and very appreciative of the investment by Fifth Third Bank. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I move to approve item 7A 2020-338 as previously read.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Wheaton. Any discussion? All those in favor, please vote. It's approved 7-0. 7B 2020-347, issuance of a commercial building permit for construction of a Caliber car wash, 1047 Windy Hill Road, Pro Building Systems, Inc. Mr. Bennett, any background?
Yes, sir. A commercial building permit has been issued at 1047 Windy Hill Road for the construction of a new 3,648 square foot building for Caliber Car Wash. The total estimated cost of the project is $905,113, and Pro Building Systems Incorporated is listed as the general contractor for the project.
This is in Ward 3. Mr. Lindley.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Motion do pass as previously read, and I believe Mayor Pro Tem Gould was going to second this one.
Oh, we have a motion and a second by by Mr. Gould. All those in favor, please vote. It's approved 7-0. Item 8 is the consent agenda. Mr. Bennett, can you please read the consent agenda for council approval?
Yes, sir. Item 2020-350, approval of the September 3rd, 2020 Committee of the Whole meeting minutes. Item 2020-351, approval of the September 8th, 2020 pre-council meeting minutes. Item 2020-352, approval of the September 8th, 2020 mayor and council meeting minutes. Item 2020-363, approval of amended and corrected defined benefit retirement plan documents, and authorize mayor to sign and execute all related documents. And item 2020-364, approval of the city's wellness program renewal in the amount of $125,000 with corporate health partners, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Have a motion by Mr. Lindley. It looks like Glenn wants to second that. Seconded by Mr. Pickens. All those in favor, please vote. Approved 7-0. Item 9 is ward and committee reports. We'll start tonight with Mr. Glenn Pickens.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no report this evening. Thank you.
Mr. Austin Wagner.
Nothing too much tonight, but I wanted to give a little shout out to a constituent of mine, Noble, who I think is here, Noble Dworka, who appeared on a new Netflix show called Sing On. He's in the first episode, so go check that out. I just wanted to give a shout out to a constituent on that one. So that's it, Mr. Mayor.
Did you want to say anything about ballot boxes, or?
Oh, there is a drop-off box and right next to the city limits. That's a valid point. I was too excited about something maybe a little bit more exciting.
I knew you were getting thrown off.
No, there is a ballot drop-off box just outside of the Smyrna at the Windy Hill Community Center. So if you've requested your absentee ballot, go over there. That might be the most convenient for at least this part of Smyrna. So appreciate Cobb Elections for getting something close to the city limits. So
making it convenient. And Noble, you're going to be around to sign autographs later, right? All right. Mr. Lindley.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Just two quick updates. The traffic calming in Ward 3, I'm proud to announce, continues. The latest stop sign, after much lobbying by the Williams Park Association, has been erected on Roswell Street. So thanks to interim City Administrator Bennett and our folks in engineering for that. And then tomorrow night we'll be hosting a neighborhood update on the Church Street upgrades, sidewalks, speed tables, and such. So that's at 6:30. Anybody listening at home can find information in the link on the city website. Thanks.
Mr. Welch.
I have no report this evening, Your Honor.
Ms. Wilkinson.
Thank you, Mayor. And I just want to follow up with Councilman Travis Lindley's comment about the meeting tomorrow night at 6:30. And it's a virtual meeting, and parts of the I guess it's the north side of Church Street falls in Ward 5. And so I want to invite any people that might be listening that live in that area and are interested in the discussion and updates on that plan. Also, I'd like to make an announcement that for the library, Mary Moore asked me to make, and she wanted to let everybody know that the Smyrna Library will host a virtual flute and harp recital by Atlanta Symphony Orchestra's principal flutist, Christina Smith, and principal harpist, Elizabeth Remy Johnson. The concert will be this Sunday, September 27th at 3 p.m. In addition to the music, Ms. Smith and Ms. Johnson will introduce each piece and answer questions from the audience. To register for this online event, please visit the Smyrna's online calendar of events at smyrnalibrary.com. And with that, I yield. Thanks.
Mr. Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one thing to mention is this past week we had the pleasure of handing out some Wi-Fi hotspots at several Smyrna area schools, and it was an idea that came out of the Education Committee with Council members Wheaton and Wilkinson, and so we had an idea, but it was really Penny who made it happen, along with the help of some other folks too, but really greatly appreciate the hard work and diligence that you put forward to bring that to fruition. And so as a result, we used the city was able to use CARES funding to provide upwards of 300 hotspots, and we'll be able to provide additional ones if necessary. So thank you very much for all your hard work.
Mr. Wheaton.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a note of thanks, particularly for the residents of Enclave at Oakdale, who came out, I guess, 2 weeks ago now for our ward walks. Really good, engaging time with police and some of our city staff and a lot of residents who came out for that activity. So really appreciated that. Looking forward to this Saturday. We'll be hitting Weatherbrook and Woodland Brook in the afternoon, in the early afternoon. So peel yourself away from college football for a little while. Come out and say hey, and look forward to meeting you all there. And with that, I yield.
Speaking of football, I don't think we've mentioned congratulations are in order for the Campbell High School football team. I think they beat them. I think they won their game 35-0 on Friday night. So that was awesome, and I hope that's the first of many to come. Mr. Bennett,
I have nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Cochran, Ms. Heather. Is there anybody signed up for public comment? Anybody in the audience wish to speak this evening? Public comment? All right. If there's no further business brought before this body, I declare us adjourned at 7:39.